Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a new edition of our show. It's a new week and we're very, very happy to see you again. We're very excited to chat with you so that we can keep holding the conversation. We really appreciate the way you really responded to our last two shows, especially when we look at the comments. We had over 1,600 comments, and we did a good job responding to all your comments because we take your comments very, very seriously. In fact, the show of today is going to be based on all the comments we've been receiving because this show is your show, and we want to make sure that all your views are expressed and we want to share them with the whole world. You guys commented a lot, and we decided that for this show, we're going to spend time making people know what most of your comments were about. In fact, we've been talking about African problems. We've been talking about French neo-colonialism and imperialism in Africa. You guys responded warmly. When we look at all the comments that we really received the last 2 weeks, you guys have been telling us, where do we go from here? Especially the issue of the sacking of Dr. Arikana Chihombori Kwai. You guys are asking us, she's telling truth to power. So what do we do now that she has been fired? What should be the solution? You've talked about the problem. What is the solution? So in fact, today we're going to be able to share with you what we think can be common sense and innovative solutions to Africa's problems. You know that the French are like international thieves. They're stealing from us. They are like armed robbers. They are stealing from us with impunity. They carry a gun and they take our stuff. It's more like a form of slavery. You guys know this already. We've been talking about this for so long. So most of you have been telling us, what do we do about it? What kind of action can we take to solve this problem? So for the show of today, we're going to focus more on solutions. We're not going to spend a lot of time demonizing the French. You guys know the problem already. So what are the solutions? Well, the way we're going to handle the news of today, we're going to start providing innovative and common sense solutions. And our solutions are going to focus on political aspects, social aspects, and economic aspects. For the main part, our thesis is the African Union has failed us. When our forefathers, such as Kwame Nkrumah and Emperor Haile Selassie, created the Organization of African Unity, the goal was to continue the movement towards African liberation. But people like Mr. Faki Mohammed, they have really sold to the French. So what do we do about it? It means that what we have to do now is to create a new organization, a new people movement. I call it the African People's Parliament. You can call it any other term. So this movement, which is a grassroots movement, has to become something like, I have two role models. In grad school, I learned that if you want to do anything, do not try to reinvent the wheel. Look at solutions that are working, then model them. So the modeling of excellence is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm looking at Israel. I'm also looking at the National Rifle Association, okay? The National Rifle Association is an advocacy group for gun owners in the United States. When you look at the way they operate, in fact, they strike fears in the hearts of all their enemies. This is what Africans need to do to solve the problem of French slavery. Let's look at what Israel has done in the United States. Israel has created a framework where they lobby for the state of Israel in the United States. So we need to have a similar framework, just like what Israel calls AIPAC, American Israel Political Action Committee. So these are two organizations that we need to model. We need to look at the way they operate. So let me repeat the names again. Israel has a pro-lobby called AIPAC, American Israel Political Action Committee. You're going to look at their website. There's a whole lot of information that you can see from their website. So we need to do the same thing. When the state of Israel was created in 1948, Israel did not really have many friends. But they forged along, the people united, even when they left Germany, as a people who were persecuted They wanted to create a new homeland for themselves. They were very weak because the Nazis had decimated most of them. There was a genocide, there was a Holocaust, so most of them were looking for a new homeland. They were spread all over the world, but they decided to return to their ancestral homeland in the Middle East, and they created the State of Israel in 1948. They had too many enemies, but because they had a belief in themselves, in fact, there's even a book which some people say is a fake book. It's called Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, which presents a way in which the people of the Jews can really create a new homeland and fight for their liberation. I think Africans can do something similar, especially now that we have a big population of Africans in the diaspora. So we think we can really create a movement such as APAC, which can really lobby for Africa, for a new Africa. So in this regard, we will not just be depending on the dictators who are ruling the continent. The dictators who are ruling the continent will be listening to us, because if they don't listen to us, they know what we're going to do to them. We're going to overthrow them. So they're going to listen to us. And you're going to ask me, how will this work? Well, look at the way APAC operates. APAC operates on a political level, it operates on a social level, and it operates on an economic level. So how are we going to do this? The way I think we can do this is, on a political level, we need to be able to select who runs for office in the United States and other parts of the world. As a group, we need to assemble and start choosing people who run for office, who runs for Senate, who runs for the House, who runs for the White House, who is selected to be in the Supreme Court. When we start lobbying and selecting our own people to represent us, then we'll be able to affect our agenda in the motherland. So that's for politics. What about economics? In terms of economics, we're going to encourage our people to get more into business. Because when you look at the Jewish people, in America, they own a whole lot of stuff. That's not the way it happened. When they came to America, they didn't have anything. But they saved, they had what we call capital formation. They were able to save their money, then start building businesses. So Africans need to start doing the same thing. And we have the know-how to share with all of you. Anybody who wants to start a business, we can share this information, how you can start your business, and we're going to support you. In fact, we have a lot of people who are contacting us already, and we're sharing our business know-how with them. We're telling them to launch their businesses. So there are so many cases which, when you call us, we'll share the information with you. So they're going to start new businesses. Because when you have businesses, what this means is, if we need money to fund our political campaign, our business entrepreneurs are going to come up with the money for us to fund most of these political campaigns. You cannot fund political campaigns with your mouth. So which is why the French sometimes look at Africans as losers, because they feel we're going to just talk and talk and talk and do nothing about it. So for the first time, we need to make the French know that we're going to do something about it, okay? When Emmanuel Macron, the new French president, knows that, oh, these are new Africans, these Africans are different, he's not going to be playing the game of white skin, black mask, because Emmanuel Macron is just like what I call the boogeyman. He thinks he can deceive Africans and trick them playing that dirty game. He has not changed. He is the same guy who inherited power from Charles de Gaulle. You may see him look little, but he's the same guy. So don't be deceived. Sometimes I will see him go to Nigeria. He plays around the crowd as if he's a young guy. He's representing change. There is no change. So don't be deceived. So focus on creating your movement. Then on a social level, we have to start engineering networking among Africans. So if we have our own organization, such as the African People's Parliament, then we can really dictate what we want. In fact, even the laws that are written in the United States, we can help senators and congressmen to put together bills which will become law. And the president will sign them. So we've given you now a simple blueprint. So don't just think that we have to keep talking. No, we don't just have to keep talking. We need to come up with solutions. If we start coming up with solutions, they will start taking us seriously. So I've given you two models, APAC and the National Rifle Association. They call it NRA. Your average politician is scared of the NRA. When you know that if you don't vote for the stance of the NRA, they will vote you out of office, you think twice before you joke with the NRA. Same thing with APAC. We have a movement, we have to emulate. So there are two organizations which I really want you guys to study. Then think about it. So from your comments, that's how we can do something about it. So I just want us to think, then start taking action. So you ask us, what can we do about solutions? Dr. Arikana has continued. Shitus is hosting meetings across the country. So she's going to be talking to more Africans. So when we start talking, we have to rise. Instead of just talking, we have to start making things happen. But we will need resources, financial resources to make things happen, which is why I'm encouraging a lot of Africans to join us so that we can show you how you can start businesses. When you have businesses, then you can contribute. If we need 100,000 from you, you can contribute easily. But if you are broke and you cannot even pay your bills, how are you going to help the motherland? So you have to start first by helping yourself, which is what we're doing on this show. We want to arm you with the knowledge you need to be able to help yourself, because you have to help yourself first before you can think of helping the motherland. Okay? This is what we're asking you to do. Help yourself. Learn to help yourself, then you'll be in a position to help your people. Because sometimes Macron looks at you like, these guys are jokers who continue stealing their stuff. What are they going to do to us? Nothing. Because they're not organized. They are weak. So when we are united and we have the resources, we'll be strong just like the Jews. I admire Jewish people a lot. They are the chosen people of God. And I want you also to become the chosen people of God. Because, as they say, as you were with Moses, so shall you be with me. As you were with the people of Israel, so shall you be with the people of Africa. That's the message and the chant you have to express every day to God. The way God was with the people of Israel, so is he going to be with the people of Africa. The way God was with Moses, so is God going to be with you. So I've given you guys two good examples what we can do in terms of grassroots organizations, okay? We have APAC and we have the NRA. So go to the internet, look at the website of these two organizations. You can Google them, then look at what they do. Then you'll be able to have a better idea of what I'm really talking about. Because if we don't do that, we'll just keep complaining like little children. Oh, the French are doing this to me. No, let's stop complaining. We have to take action to make something happen. And this is what would teach the French a lesson. They will stop treating us like slaves. They will start respecting us. Then, instead of our people dying at sea trying to cross the Mediterranean to go to Europe, they will stay in the motherland and lead good lives. Okay? So we have these two models of excellence for you to think about. Think about them, then we'll continue with our new segment.
Life insurance money secrets of millionaires and billionaires exposed. Discover how America's rich and famous exploit these arcane tools to build fabulous wealth. Why should these big white guys have all the fun? Let Prince Ojong, the celebrity author of The Miraculous Millionaire, show you the little understood life insurance way to riches. Are you still doubting the good things that life insurance can do for you? Trust strategies, estate planning, 401k rollover, annuity contract, cash value, education funding, executive benefits, income protection, life protection, living benefits, mortgage protection, tax-free retirement? Think and grow rich with life insurance. Your amazing journey to wealth begins by calling Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131.
The new segment today, we're going to start looking at Nigeria. Well, I'm very, very sorry. As we were taping the show of today, we were told that there's a fire that broke out in Lagos, in a market called Balogun Market. So this area of Lagos is just like if you go to New York and you have Wall Street. Like Wall Street is a very, very important area. That's like the money center. That's where they trade money, okay? Money is sold. If you have a company and you want your company to go public, You go to Wall Street to raise money. In fact, your popular Facebook was a private company. When Mark Zuckerberg needed to raise money, he went to Wall Street to raise money. So this market in Lagos is similar to like Wall Street. It's a really big market. And when this fire broke, we could see firefighters struggling to put out the fire, but they were not able to extinguish it quickly. And we saw people even using buckets. What we're saying to our Nigerian government is, please, something like this, you've had fires rampantly and frequently. So don't just sit, you need to have proactive measures. Don't just wait until a fire engulfs an area like this before you start running. You need to have vehicles which can really help firefighting, okay? Firefighting should really take precedence. Look at what these people have lost. They've lost a whole lot of stuff. So we don't like stuff like this to be happening. Not long ago, this happened to my Igbo friends, and they lost a lot of stuff. So people sometimes feel like Mr. Buhari doesn't really care. But I know this is not something for Mr. Buhari to do alone, but at least as a president, he can set in motion some things that can happen that can really help the entire country. So we want you to start thinking about firefighting as a security threat, okay? Firefighting has to come in, because with good firefighters, whenever a fire breaks out like this, they can put it out a lot quickly. So you have to introduce different squads, what we call mobile squads that are very forceful and quick. So when something like this happens, the mobile squad just goes out and puts the fire out. So I think this will really help us lose less. So this fire made the people lose a whole lot of goods, and we just hope many people did not die in this fire. And we pray for the people who have lost a lot of their assets in this fire. We pray that at least God should replenish what they lost. And we ask you to join us in praying for some of these families of traders and business people who lost a lot in this fire. But at the same time, Nigeria is also talking about the ECO. The ECO is like the new currency. And so much talk has been going on recently about the ECO. The ECO, which stands for the Economic Community of West Africa. So there are about 15 countries that really belong to this trade zone. So most of them have individual currencies, like Nigeria, which has the Naira. Then, of course, you have some former French colonies of Africa. So they are using the franc. So they're going to start using the ECO. But from the intelligence that we're gathering, Nigeria makes over 67% of this market. So if they are really going to be joining the ECO, which, as we understand, apart from Ghana, none of the countries is ready yet based on the benchmarks that they had set for themselves. So it looks like even the 2020 deadline, which has been set for the launch of the currency called ECO, is not even going to happen. As you know, they have been postponing the date all the time, postponing the date all the time, postponing the date all the time. But we think it makes sense to postpone it because they're not really ready. But what really annoys us is the fact that we've gathered intelligence that France is behind this currency. Some of the secret intelligence we've gathered is telling us that France is going to be printing this currency. So then we'll ask you again, how can you be leaving the French franc, then you're going back into the hands of France? It makes no sense. Nigeria has its own currency, which is called the Naira. You have a currency. Why would you jettison your currency to join a currency controlled by France again? So it's like France is playing a game. You see, it's like a masquerade. You have the CFA, you hide it and put the mask of the ECO. So the ECO basically is the French currency. So how can you be running away from fry pan, you jump into fire? It makes no sense. So we're telling Nigeria, what are you gaining from Emmanuel Macron to make you decide to join this without really complaining? Because Nigeria has a very, very big market. There's no reason why Nigeria has to lose the Naira for a currency that is tied to France. It doesn't make sense. So we are opening the eyes of our people. Check it out. Is Buhari going to be joining the ECO? And is the ECO going to be printed and minted in France? Why can they not mint this currency in Nigeria? So you ask me, why not? Why is Nigeria not minting and printing this currency right at home. So this is wrong. So France should really get out. Is France paying Mr. Buhari so that this currency can be launched? So which means, because France knows that Africans don't like the fact that France is exploiting them, so France wants to give them another currency, then they hide behind and still control Africans. This is not going to stand, and we're asking you to open your eyes and tell France to get lost. No more financial slavery in Africa from France. France is international thief. France, international thief. So France is an armed robber. They are stealing from us, and we cannot let this continue. So we're telling you to end. If you even look at Ivory Coast, last week we spoke about Ivory Coast, but I was just reading some Alassane Ouattara. Alassane Ouattara is the president of Ivory Coast. This guy has been in big international financial organizations like the World Bank, IMF. He is supporting the existence and perpetuation of the CFA. How can he be doing this when people like Nicolas Agbohu, who are experts, okay? Nicolas Agbohu is talking about the way the French franc is impoverishing Africa. But Mr. Alassane Ouattara will stand in public and support the CFA, saying that it gives stability to Africa. What is stability? What about sovereignty? If Africans can have their own currency, then it will really help them to enjoy true sovereignty, true independence. They can decide, look like some of the Asian countries. Sometimes the game they played with the United States is a game of devaluation, where you decide that you want your currency to be less valued. If your currency is less valued, it means your goods will be cheaper to foreign countries. They will buy more and you make more money. So they decide to devalue their currency so that people can buy more goods. The goods are cheaper. But if you don't control your currency, it remains at par all the time. So it means you cannot really manipulate this currency to your favor, okay? Which is what is really happening now with most of these African former colonies of France. They cannot really have the right to say anything. They are stuck with the CFA. What we are thinking is like what one of our friends told us. The best thing for Africans to do is to start planning. Don't rush into the launching of the ECO, okay? Don't rush into it. Right now, only Ghana is ready. Nigeria itself is not even ready. All the benchmarks have not really been met. So don't rush into the launching of the ECO. So I want you guys to understand this. Nigeria should not rush to join these other West African states to launch the ECO. If you wait and plan it well, then you can launch a new currency called the Afro, which can be used all over the entire Africa. So I think this will be a much better currency, a currency that will be tied to Africa, and France will have nothing to do with it, okay? As we tell you, there are problems with France everywhere. You look at Burkina Faso.
Hey, yo, Shape, I thought you was gonna take me to this place so I could get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you searching for a house, call up my man Prince O'Jones, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy Shape. When I say his services are the best in the states where it's born, he even take care of your tax forms, back refunds. So come get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing, no waiting. This man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131.
One of the first leaders who was overthrown by French soldiers, Legionnaire, okay? Since then, look at Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso. Even a few days ago, 4 or 5 people were killed in Burkina Faso, including their mayor. People are just disgruntled because they are tired of the French presence in that part of the land, okay? So then Mali also, people were killed a few days ago in Mali. The jihadis are tired of the French. Even though in 2011 they were routed out, they are back. So they are back and they are willing to die and get France out of their country. So we're saying that if we need to do anything, we have to fight for our freedom. Okay, from now, we're going to go now to Cameroon. There's a whole lot happening in Cameroon, and as you know, first, Donald Trump is very, very angry with Mr. Paul Biya. Donald Trump sent a letter to Congress telling them that he's going to stop Cameroon's participation in the AGOA program. AGOA is a program that was intended to help African countries trade favorably in the United States by giving them better terms of trade. And so Cameroon, because of human rights violations in Ambazonia, Donald Trump has decided that, well, enough is enough. So we told you, more and more people are watching our show. We're sharing information. So people who think the international community does not know what is happening in Africa, they are making a mistake, because we set out with your help. We want people to know what is happening in Africa, and it's happening already. So when you look at Donald Trump's letter to Congress, it looks like we wrote it for him, because all the issues we've been telling you on this show, those were the issues that he put in his letter. And he's telling Mr. Paul Biya that enough is enough. We're giving you enough time to solve the Anglophone problem, but you're not really doing anything about it. Instead, your soldiers are killing people every day. So we don't like that, and we're going to punish you. So the American ambassador in Cameroon has met Mr. Paul Biya and explained to him that, listen, withdrawal from AGOA is not just the end. This is just the beginning. We're going to come with more pressure. And I know the way Americans operate, because if Mr. Biya doesn't really comply with their dictates, then they're going to just take him out. And usually, AFRICOM is just around the corner. So AFRICOM is around the corner, and AFRICOM will do the job. So he has to be careful. If he's stubborn, then it means he really wants to end up in the International Criminal Court. So much is happening in Cameroon. Mr. Biya is not really listening to the voice of reason. Even Maurice Kamto is out, but the whole of this week, you can see that MRC, his party, is struggling with the government to express themselves. The government doesn't want them to even organize a press conference, so it's creating a whole lot of problems. Instead, Mr. Biya has brought French mercenaries to come and fight the people in Ambazonia, and this is creating a lot of problems. In fact, MRC, Mr. Maurice Kamto's party, even wanted to go to Saint-Melima to present their program, but they were banned. In fact, Mr. Maurice Kamto was even held again in his house. He was not allowed to go out to take part in a press conference.
La gendarmerie et la police ont été mobilisés sur haute instruction pour nous empêcher, nous les militants du MRC, d'accéder à Ebolova. À Ebolova, aujourd'hui, devrait se tenir un très grand meeting. Un meeting présidé par Dr Apollinaire Oko, qui est le régional MRC du Sud.
So those are the kind of problems that are going on in Ambazonia. Then we'll ask ourselves, where is Lele Lafrique, the governor of the Northwest region? People are saying that he's not dead. Where is he? That's what most of the inquiring minds are asking. Where is he? So if you look at, we have so many pictures of Cameroon. You see what is happening in the newspapers. Much of it has to do with AGOA, then the problems between the government and MRC. Then finally, we're going to end this show by going to Ambazonia. In Ambazonia, we have so many videos to share with you. The main news, Sisiku on Sunday, we saw a very nice picture of President Sisiku Ayoktabe Julius, dressed very, very well in his suit after attending Mass on Sunday. We say all hail to President Sisiku. The people are behind him. Then there was also a lot of videos and pictures about Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim is a Muslim scholar. He was arrested by the government of Mr. Paul Biya for speaking to the Swiss government about the Ambazonia issue. Abdul Karim was talking about a dialogue, meaningful dialogue between the Anglophones and Mr. Biya's government. But Mr. Biya's government did not like the fact that he was telling the truth. So they arrested him while he was leaving the Swiss embassy in Yaoundé. And it was only a few days ago he returned to Nkwembamenda like a hero. When I saw him coming on horseback, a lot of vehicles and motorbike riders behind him, it was just like Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem. So people were coming from everywhere to welcome their folk hero. So Abdul Karim, we're happy you are back with your family, and we hope the government can learn from its stupidity. Why did they even arrest you? So it doesn't really make any sense, okay? So in addition to Abdul Karim, we're also going to be looking at pictures of fighting in Amazonia. Most of the restoration forces, you can see them, they are really bent on fighting Mr. Biya's government. They are buying their weapons, and we can show you some of the pictures with their weapons. You see they are fighting, and they are brandishing their weapons. I mean, AK-47s and solid stuff. And it looks like they have a lot of rocket-propelled grenades, which they are using to break into army vehicles. And you can see a lot of army vehicles that have been damaged just because of the bombs the guys are using. So we think that it's time for the French to stay away from the conflict in Amazonia. If not, the Amazonians will be dragging their bodies in the streets. They will be very, very ashamed when they start dragging their bodies in the street. Let it not come to that, but it may come to that because Emmanuel Macron is a hungry, bloody sucker, okay? So we thank you very much for watching the show of today, and we're asking you to subscribe. You guys are doing a good job of subscribing, and you're doing a good job of commenting. Keep commenting, keep sharing the videos. Bye-bye.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.